The episode that follows the WWE Raw season premiere needs to continue the hype that was created last week. The best way to achieve this would be through a whole lot of surprises. Thankfully, the events of last week have set the stage wonderfully for these surprises to happen. So with that in mind, here are 5 twists we could potentially see on this week's show. Feel free to chime in with your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Hey, listen, if you want to list down some surprises of your own, don't let us stop you. Get those creative juices flowing and tell us if you could potentially do better than the WWE Raw creative team below. Number 5. Keith Bearcat Lee officially joins the Hurt Business and goes after the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. Did you catch a moment between Shelton Benjamin and Keith Bearcat Lee on WWE Raw last week? It was almost as if Lee was being considered as a recruit into the Hurt Business. And why not? He has all the credentials to be the muscle of the group. Bobby Lashley could be the star, Cedric Alexander the highflyer, Benjamin the seasoned veteran, and of course, Lee the brawn. Could Lee and Lashley go after the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships next? Riddle and Randy Orton need some competition going forward after they pretty much took the entire tag team division to the cleaners on last week's show. These are 4 top stars, and let's face it, such a contest will be hard to call. Is there any other WWE Raw tag team that looks like it could potentially dethrone RK Bro? We don't think so, but if you feel otherwise, do let us know in the comments. Number 4. Finn Balor, exasperated after his many losses, turns heel. We know that Finn Balor came up short on WWE Raw last week, but that's not his only major loss recently. He lost to Roman Reigns as the Demon and then came up short against Xavier Woods in the King of the Ring finals as well. Annoyed at coming up short time and again, could we see Balor turn heel on this week's show? He would come to the realization that the only way to win big is to twist and turn the rules to suit his own needs. Number 3. Gable Steveson makes his WWE Raw debut. It's time for new players to enter the fray on WWE Raw. Could the Olympian Gable Steveson show up to the dance on this week's show and maybe take a seasoned veteran to the limit, like say Chad Gable? This Gable versus Gable feud could really shine the spotlight on Steveson's skills and entice Chad Gable to stay in the company for the long haul. Both men will benefit immensely. Number 2. Queen Zelina and Carmella form a tag team on WWE Raw this week. Could Carmella and Queen Zelina reunite on WWE Raw this week? Super Brutality will need some good opponents going forward, and there's literally none better than Carmella and Queen Zelina for this spot. Both have momentum galore from picking up big wins. If they reunite on the red brand and face the women's tag team champions, the result could be very interesting indeed. Number 1. T-Bar goes back to his NXT name, based on the events on WWE Raw last week. It's pretty clear that T-Bar has entered the United States Championship fray. Now that Mace is on the other brand and Retribution is no more, it doesn't make sense for T-Bar to keep his name anymore. Could he go back to Dominik Dijakovic on this week's show? The big man could reinvent himself through a series of exciting contests on Monday Night Raw. A new season means a fresh start, and we could see him go back to being the machine that he was during his NXT run. WWE Raw features a massive title match on Monday. Becky Lynch will defend her Raw Women's Championship against former Women's Champion Bianca Belair. The two have faced off on 3 previous occasions. The first was during Lynch's surprise return at SummerSlam, the next in a one-on-one match at Extreme Rules, where Sasha Banks made her surprise return and caused the match to end in a no contest. Finally, all 3 women fought in a triple threat match at WWE Crown Jewel. In the lead-up to their bout, Lynch took to Twitter to address her challenger. She claimed, like before, she would be the one standing tall. Beat you at #SummerSlam, beat you at #Crown Jewel. Don't know what this shut up or run up thing is about. I've been winning. Better bring all you have. But even that won't be enough, Lynch tweeted. Becky Lynch retained her SmackDown Women's Championship at Crown Jewel in a triple threat match. She then switched titles with then Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair as a result of the draft. On her first night at the Red Brand, the EST, also drafted to Raw, challenged her to a rematch, seeking to regain the title. Despite being a heel on TV, the Raw Women's Champion is a hero to many WWE fans. Becky Lynch had a special message for those who dressed up as her this Halloween. Yesterday, the man felt honored seeing everyone dressing up as her. She wished their bags to be full of candy bars during Trick or Treat. On another note, I have seen the many of you that have dressed up as Becky Lynch this year, and I am humbled and honored. You all look fantastic. Happy Halloween and may your bags be filled with full-sized candy bars, said Becky Lynch. Coming back to the match. Who do you think will win on Monday Night Raw? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Becky Lynch is a heel on the Women's Champion on Monday Night Raw. But the man is very much a babyface to fans outside the squared circle. In her meet and greet where people come and show their love for big-time Becks, there was one girl who just couldn't control her feelings and excitement. The fan was pouring with emotion and embraced the Women's Champion as soon as they met. Becky Lynch, being as classy as she is, opened up her arms and pulled her in for a hug to console the girl who was moved to tears meeting her idol. After the hug, she exchanged a brief talk with the fangirl, discussing how she's so pleased to meet her. In the end, she signed an autograph for the fan and let her pose with her Raw Women's Championship belt for a photo. The fans have always had a soft spot for Becky Lynch and vice versa. It's part of the reason the man was pushed to the top of the mountain and became the most popular superstar on the women's roster. Becky's road to WrestleMania saw her go to the top of the ranks and win at the grandest stage of them all due to her outrageous momentum. This past Friday night SmackDown saw Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair have a hand in one of its most awkwardly tense segments in history. The reason for the intensity and the actual palpable heat brewing was the off-script title drop from Charlotte that got a rise out of Becky. Both of them were angry with each other, to say the least. After the segment, both superstars had a heated verbal brawl backstage. Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer reports that WWE has edited out the title drop moment from the segment over in the replays. What do you think are the plans for Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair going forward? Let us know your opinions in the comments. Former WWE star Cain Velasquez believes Brock Lesnar's loss to him in the UFC ring affected their relationship in WWE. Velasquez, like Lesnar, was a part of MMA before making the jump to professional wrestling. He had a high-profile match with Lesnar in UFC back in 2010, defeating the Beast incarnate to become the UFC heavyweight champion. In a recent interview with the MMA Hour, Velasquez detailed his run in WWE and short feud with Lesnar in the Squared Circle. The Mexican-American thinks that his win against the Beast incarnate in UFC led to some friction in WWE, but Velasquez said that their interactions were limited in WWE. There's always going to be friction with that. So yeah, there was, but working together. We didn't work much, but talking to him just for that little bit, I just know where he comes from, just from that little time spent, and I mean very little. I know what he's about, and I respect him for that. What you see out there when he performs, all that he lives it, he breathes it. That's him. That persona that you see, that's him out there. That's his true self. Close quarters, he's obviously more human, but that's him, and I saw that, said Velasquez. Velasquez, though, has some regrets from his WWE spell. He felt that he needed more time to develop and train to become a superstar. The former UFC champion was comfortable with the MMA and collegiate wrestling atmosphere as he knew what he was doing, but that wasn't the case in WWE. His run with Vince McMahon's company didn't even last a year, as he was released in April 2020 after debuting in the company in October 2019. Velasquez's sole televised match in WWE came against Brock Lesnar at the 2019 Crown Jewel pay-per-view, where the Beast incarnate squashed him. Sheamus has not wrestled in over a month, but the former WWE champion is all set to make his in-ring return this week, as per the company's listings for its UK tour. Sheamus has been advertised for WWE's UK tour, which will begin on November 3rd and conclude on November 10th. WWE revealed the match cards for the UK tour earlier this week, and Sheamus was confirmed to compete on several dates. The Celtic Warrior will face Finn Balor on 4 consecutive days, and his final house show match will take place in Manchester on November 10th. Sheamus broke his nose during a Monday Night Raw match in June, and he quickly underwent surgery and subsequently wore a mask while he recovered from the injury. The former United States champion went under the knife again at the end of September to fix the nagging nose injury. It has been speculated that Sheamus might have re-injured his nose during his Extreme Rules match against Jeff Hardy and Damian Priest. He posted the following after his second surgery of the year: "Once more onto the breach, dear friends. 2 times WWE Nose Job champion," wrote Sheamus. Sheamus' last match took place on the September 27th episode of Raw, where he faced Damian Priest in a no DQ match for the United States Championship. Sheamus was drafted to SmackDown during the WWE 2021 draft, and the 43-year-old superstar will be a big boost to the Blue Brand's roster when he returns to full-time action. The veteran star is presently enjoying Halloween as he posted photos of his Beetlejuice costume. Are you excited to see Sheamus return to the ring?